Exercise 2. Creating a table and fields. Every database you create must contain at least one table, and as I stated at the end of exercise 1, the new database starts us out with a table, table 1, all ready to go. I want you to know how to make your own tables, however, so let's do that now. Click the Create tab on the ribbon. Whenever you need to create a table, a form, a query, a report, or a macro in Access, you'll use this tab. Now you see the Create ribbon, listing all the things Access allows you to create. Note that the ribbon has different groups within it: templates, tables, queries, forms, reports, and macros and code. Let's focus on the templates and tables sections. Here are 3 ways Access lets you create a table. 1. Click the Table button in the Tables section to build a basic table. It'll look just like Table 1. 2. If you want Access to build you a contact list, a task list, or an issues tracking table, click the Application Parts button in the Templates section of the Create ribbon. A menu will pop up, so you can choose the type of list you want to make. 3. If you want to build the table from scratch and have complete control over every aspect, the best button to click is the Table Design button. Now, click the Table Design button. Locate the Table Design button in the Tables group, and click it. This places you in Table Design mode, and you see that the Design tab, under a Table Tools tab, is now part of the. Okay. So we have a new table, called Table 2. Note that Table 1's still tucked in behind it, hoping you'll give it something to store. Don't worry. We'll use it. And now, though, let's focus on the Table 2 panel and the tools it provides. The Table Design pane has 4 sections. The Field Name column is where you'll enter the names for each of the fields that'll make up your new table. The Data Type column lets you indicate which type of information you plan to insert into each field. There are 11 choices. You'll learn about some of them in this lesson, and we'll cover the ones you'll use most often in typical database design as we move through the rest of the course. The Description column's optional. If you're developing a database for others to use, you might use this column to briefly describe the purpose of each field. The Field Properties section enables you to define what information you want stored in each of your field. These settings are optional, but there'll be times you need to tweak things. You'll find out how as we continue this lesson. As I said, we're building a database for each novel. The first table stores information about the novels with one record for each novel. Each novel record has several fields. Each field holds one piece of information about the novel. Your job now is to define what types of novel information we're going to store in each field. If you were in charge of monitoring the e-novel novels list, what kind of information would you want to track? Take a minute to think about this. Well, there's the novel's title, of course. We'll categorize the novel into 4, humor, spiritual, love and religious, so that we can later sort by category. The more you break your data down into logical chunks like that, the more flexibility you'll have in sorting and filtering it later on. Because we will keep track the information of the novel, we also need the information of quantity, ISBN, publisher and author. Let's get started. Click your mouse on the first row of the Field Name column, and type Title in the first cell in the Field Name column, as shown here. When you finish typing this first field name, press the Tab key on your keyboard to move into the first row of the column. Short text is the displayed, and default, data type, but if you click the arrow, you can choose from several other types. Making the right choice here is important, because it helps Access allocate enough space for your data. It also helps you to properly format the data, and to prevent data entry errors when you start filling the table, like accidentally typing a date into a field meant to contain currency. The novel's title will be text, so click the down arrow on the right side of this column, and choose short text from the list that drops down. Tab into the description column on the first row, and type these words, novel's title. Before you leave the description column on the first row, glance at the Field Properties section at the bottom of the dialog box. Click the General tab if necessary. Notice how Access has set the field size to 255 characters. That seems excessive for a novel's title, so let's reduce the field size to 30 characters. To do so, click in the field size text box, backspace, or delete the number 255 and type 30 instead. You can also double-click the 255 and then type 30 to replace it. That's it for our first field. Let's add another. Click the second row of the field name column. Type category, and press Tab. Choose short text as the data type, press Tab again to move to the description column on the second row, and type novels category. Again, this isn't essential, but it's good to get into the habit of explaining or defining your fields in case others work on this database. Before you leave the second row, change the content of the field size text box in the Field Properties section to 10. Wouldn't it be okay to just leave these fields set at 255 characters and just not use of them? Actually, the less space you ask Access to allocate for each field, the smaller, faster, and more efficient your database will be. You've just set up a table with 2 fields. Excellent work! If you're wondering why we haven't saved our work yet, good for you. It's wise to save work early and often. We'll be saving our table and our database shortly, so when you're ready, move ahead to exercise 3.